A very good afternoon to one and all present here. It's my indeed privilege to introduce you to chief guest of today's program, Professor M.S. Shivkumar. I kindly request Gokul, Chief Coordinator Dhruva, to give a token of appreciation to Professor M.S. Shivkumar on the behalf of whole Dhruva team. We welcome you, sir. Now I request Professor Shivkumar to give a token of appreciation to guest of honor, Dr. Dhaval Dalal. We welcome you too, sir. Dr. Dhaval Dalal did his MBBS from Bombay University, MD in 1990 and started his clinical practice in 1992. It's his 20th year in this noble profession. He started the first not-for-profit nursing home in the district of Thane in 1993 at Meera Road with a group of 6 of his other doctor friends. Owing to huge success of this initiative, he started the construction of a 100-bed hospital in 1994 and it started in 1998. After this, there was no turning back and he scaled one success after another. He is also a trustee and founding member of BV Hospital, consisting of 150 beds and 100 visiting doctor, making it one of the most successful hospitals in Mumbai. His area of interest include holistic medical care and preventive medicine through healthy lifestyle. It's my indeed privilege to introduce you to to guest of honor today, Dr. Dhaval Dalal. I request you to kindly come on stage and enlighten us with your words. Welcome, sir.
So good evening, and I feel most blessed today to be in the midst of, can I come here? Hello, is okay? Yeah. I feel indeed very privileged today in coming to this beautiful place. It's my first visit to Chennai. And that to a very pleasant experience. As soon as I came here, I saw in front of the library 4 beautiful deers. I never saw deer so close except in zoos. But here were 4 deers were free. And then as I moved along, I saw so many more stags. So I'm already feeling so pleasant here. And especially being in the midst of the intellectual giants of our country, I feel even more special about myself that I met some very special people here. So I would like to first of all thank the Dhruva team for inviting me here. Made good friendship with this wonderful person I know now as Mr. Gokul. So thank you for inviting me, Mr. Gokul, and your entire team. We're going to talk about something which is, I think, very important today. The crowd is meager, but yet doesn't matter. The message is important. And I feel that those who are here probably can sort of network with other people and get the message across. My interest has always been healthy lifestyles, which is a part of preventive medicine. As you know, when you get sick, that's the end of the problem. It's like but there's a lot which happens before you fall sick. So we're going to talk about today a lifestyle which is very strong, very powerful, which will build your physical structure, your mind, your intellect so strongly that we do not fall prey to all the different distractions which may come across in our lives. I specifically mean substance abuse. So I'll start with our first slide. I propose to speak for about 50 minutes to 1 hour maximum, and thereafter definitely I would have some interaction with all of your friends, take some questions from your side, and I believe there's some dramas after that also. Yeah? Okay, so that sounds interesting. Addiction is a very age-old problem. People get addicted to various things in life. Could be sometimes innocent things, and some could be dangerous things. But as age goes by and as times change, more and more dangerous things seems to be coming across, in our lives. So there's a need to become more aware. So this is more like, I believe, a awareness program to sensitize all of you to make your own very powerful choices in life. So we wanted to make you aware that addiction is a worldwide problem. In the student community, yes, as I passed myself through my MBBS years, MD years, I have seen a lot of addiction myself. So what are various things which are being used? Well, practically people seem to get addicted to anything. But these days, there were days when, even tea was considered an addiction. When I was brought up as a child, my mother would say, "Beta, cha nahi pivani." In Gujarati, she would tell me, "Drink only milk." Right? So then gradually, now tea has become absolutely something which is normal, absolutely normal. But tea wasn't the culture of our country before. Tea was brought to our country by the Britishers, who sold it free at Mumbai for many years, got people addicted, and they started charging them thereafter. Right? So even things like tea, which have become normal now, but now we're not talking about tea anymore, because tea is caffeine and sort of acceptable at a particular level. But we're talking of more dangerous things. We're talking of marijuana, we're talking of painkillers, tranquilizers, right? So we're talking of more dangerous things which can happen to the body. Next one. So look at the variety of things which people can consume to get addicted to. Alcohol, beer, wine, hard liquor, amphetamines, caffeine, cannabis. There are various names to cannabis are given: marijuana, pot, hashish, ganja, cocaine, LSD. The LSD culture, of the 1960s, which swept America. Nicotine, tobacco, we'll talk about that in detail today, and many others, right? So there is a whole lot of things which you can get addicted to. So the choices are very wide, and we have to be very wise to choose right from the wrong. Okay, so there are 3 C's as far as the addiction is concerned. It's substance dependence, compulsive use, inability to control the use, and continued use in spite of consequences, right? So we want to become very aware that addiction is a powerful problem. It's very difficult to deal with this once you get into it. Because as it says here, it's compulsive. That means even though there are bad habits, bad things happening to you, you won't be able to give it up by just your willpower, right? So please become aware about this factor, that addiction is something which we should not get. It's a hole which you can get into, but it's a hole which you cannot reverse back once you get into it. So we start with smoking today. Again, a very, very innocuous thing. Cigarette smoking looks like, oh, come on, it's cool, right? They say it's cool. They forget there is a heat. There's a heat at the tip of the cigarette. So it cannot be cool. The temperature is more than, I believe, 300 degrees centigrade. How can a cigarette be cool if it is burning at 300 centigrade? So it's not really cool. It's really, really hot. If you touch it to your skin, you get burnt. So it's not cool at all. So anyway, we'll talk about smoking in a little bit of more detail. Somebody smokes a cigarette and immediately hands over to somebody else. He said, "Care for a smoke?" Right? It's a normal thing to offer a cigarette and just put it to your lips and try it, right? But let's talk about some of the things which can happen to somebody who really gets deep into smoking. It used to be something which came to medical knowledge much later, that cancers, respiratory diseases, and things like that are caused by cancer, caused by smoking. But you'll be surprised to know, my dear friends, that even though now every cigarette packet says this, tobacco smoking is injurious to health. And in Marathi also they say, "Tambako khayane karkarogo hoto." Karkarog is cancer. So every packet of tobacco, every packet of cigarette has this. But the most surprising thing is that doctors came to know of the hazards of smoking much later. The first people who came to know about the hazards of smoking were the manufacturers. They knew it 20 years before the doctors came to know about this. They knew all about the hazards of smoking. They were completely convinced that this is horrible for life. But the temptation of money would not deter them from doing anything and everything, licit and illicit both, to sell the cigarette. Right? So you have millions of dollars being spent just to advocate smoking. It's very easy to do that. What you need to do is just basically just get a big celebrity, that's all. Just get a big celebrity, pay him $1 million and say, you hold a cigarette like this and smoke it like this. Make it look fashionable, make it look trendy, make it look cool, right? And everyone will follow, right? So we are living in a world, my dear friends, please understand, which is full of people who are living with huge vested interest. One great person has said there are two types of people in the world. Who are they? The cheaters and the cheated. There's only two types of species in this world. Somebody having to cheat you, and some people are getting actually cheated. In the scientific circles, political circles, education circles, it is just a world of cheaters and cheated. And this is a true story of how this fashionable-looking thing has killed millions today. It's killed millions. We'll go back to the. So let's look at some of the effects. Cancers. You can see all the organs involved from top to bottom. So many so many things. As the smoke passes by, do not think that cancer only affects the throat and the lungs. The smoke is absorbed into the body. It is just passively absorbed through all the mucous linings and every organ exposed to the hazards of smoking. So practically every organ can get involved. So respiratory diseases, pneumonias, chronic obstructive pulmonary diseases, accelerated age related to decline in lung function, asthma. Reproductive effects. Now, of course, I don't see so many women here, so there are just few women here, but smoking is becoming very popular in women also today. Women's liberation, they want to imitate the men, right? So they also will want to be cool like the men. So they take the cigarette also on their lips, and then they have health issues, right? Now, these are important because in today's day and age, everyone knows about cancer and respiratory, so I won't go into detail, but something which people don't know is it reduces reproductive ability. Whether it is smoking, alcohol, or any drugs, it has a powerful influence on your reproductive potential. People can go really impotent just by smoking. Sounds bad, right? It's a very good deterrent not to get into this. As it is in medical science, we have struggled giving couples children. And one of the biggest businesses in today's medical circles is infertility clinics, right? Where just couples don't bear children after trying so hard for years together after marriage. So then that's become a big problem also in any case. We're getting all the food is contaminated, the air is contaminated, everything we eat is contaminated. So you don't just have a healthy potency anymore. But when you smoke cigarettes, it destroys your sperms. It destroys the motility. It destroys the eggs produced by the females, right? So please be very conscious that it is not so cool and it can have serious repercussions to not only your health, but your family life. Can get seriously jeopardized by this innocent looking smoke, right? And if the child is exposed to smoke in the womb, then he will become a smoker all his life. Because the guy has, poor fellow, without his personal choice, his mother is smoking cigarette, so then he just starts loving it when he's in the womb. And he said when he comes out, he's just looking for where is the bud? Where is the bud left behind on the ashtray? And he starts putting to his mouth, right? So it's like that. Coronary problems. You have so many people getting heart attacks these days. I know friends, medical students are there. 24 years age and massive heart attacks. Now anybody at 24 looks like all of you are younger than that, but nobody is spared. There used to be a time when we were taught in our school, college days that hypertension, diabetes, heart disease is a disease of the elderly. It happens after 50. Those days have gone. Times have changed. You can get a heart attack right now. I can get it right now. So it is, no one is spared. As it is, we are living a very high-risk life today. So cause of heart attacks in young people is what? Usually intense stress. Stress causes vasospasm. The intense stress, a broken love affair or whatever else, or a failed exam or anything would happen to young people, your arteries can just go into intense spasm. They just close down and you are dead, right? And on the top of that, if you've been adding a lot of smoke to your lungs and to your heart, then you are in serious trouble. Right? So atherosclerosis, coronary artery disease, strokes, and aneurysms. We talked about this already. Look at this. It's very trendy to smoke. I have friends who are working in ZTV and other places who say that now women smoke there more than men. Really, it's terrible, right? So, I don't know where the world is heading towards, but you see the small infant, he has cigarette in his mouth. So, see the fetus? He's already smoking. He's enjoying that stuff, already in the womb of his mother, right? So, this is what is happening. Yeah, look at these things. So, it can be very easily understood that smoking is basically a biological poison. In one word, it's a biological poison. It affects every cell in your body. All the 311 trillion cells which your body is made up of, every cell is going to get damaged. Those are seriously damaged will show up as disease, but everything is going to be damaged. From your oral cavity, the stains in your mouth, the stains in your teeth, right up to every cell in your brain and kidney, everywhere. Right? So this is about smoking. Stop smoking is easy. I should know. I have done so hundreds of times. It speaks for itself. It's a powerful addiction. It's powerful. Addictions are powerful, but this is very powerful. It is more powerful than alcohol, I am told. I have not tried, but I am told by my patients that साहब ये शराब तो छोड़ दिया लेकिन सिगरेट नहीं छूट रहा है अभी क्या करेंगे कम कर दिया लेकिन छूटेगा नहीं है. So it's very powerful. Let's look into all of you are scientific mind people. You need to go into a bit of detail about what makes this so dangerous. 4,000 chemicals including cyanide. Can you believe you're taking cyanide in your body? Can you just believe that? Cyanide, it's a killer, right? Everyone has heard. They say in science that nobody knows the taste of potassium cyanide. You heard that right before, I'm sure, right? Nobody has mentioned its taste. Our scientists sitting here on the front bench will tell us. Nobody knows. Every day they say colorless, odorless, tasteless. No, everything is, chemistry starts like that. Physical properties, chemical properties, boiling points, melting point, etc. Nobody knows even the taste of potassium cyanide. But before you can say sweet or sour, you're in the coffin. Right, finished. Right, so 4,000 chemicals including cyanide, arsenic. Arsenic is very powerful, is a poison. Methanol, ammonia, acetone. 45 identified carcinogens, and every year they find even more carcinogens in nicotine, in smoke. 45 chemicals designed to only create cancer. Obviously, nature did not design tobacco for consumption. Does it not make sense? Doesn't make common sense. We are talking about science and IIT and MD and all that. We are supposed to be scientific guys, scientific people. But it appears very simple. Nature did not design this for human consumption. Maybe there are some other uses to this tobacco. It wasn't designed for us. But look at all the nonsense that is happening in our body. Right? A single drop of pure nicotine can kill a 70-kilo man. Don't try it. All of you are less than 70. So you will drop that even more easier. So that's the power of nicotine. Extreme powerful substance. Did dinosaurs become extinct? Look at the lower dinosaur, the green fellow. Started smoking. So it's easier to become extinct from this world. Start smoking. Right? So smoking is like that. It's dangerous. It's very dangerous. Small children, they start like that. I must admit today, I have not told this to anybody. My parents are not there anymore, so I can speak now. When I was a small child, I was moving around in my compound, and then somebody threw a cigarette butt from the top. I must be about 6 years old or something. And something told me I should try this. That's the only time in my life I touched that butt to my lips. I took 2 puffs and said, "Maja nahi aaya." Threw it. Children become very inquisitive. Why people do this all the time? There must be something to it, right? So many people just do it as a curiosity. But most people tell me that when they smoke the first cigarette, they coughed so badly. It's a horrible feeling when you start smoking, actually. But the peer pressure is so strong that you have to still, chalo bhai, khasiyat to kya hua? You take cough syrup and you go on. And then the first few experiences are very terrible. But generally what happens is your body gets what? Adapted. It's adapted to it. Huh? So not every smoker coughs for every cigarette thereafter. And he feels now it is cool to smoke. Right? But it really coughs. So the nature gives you a signal right in the first attempt. Maiden attempt only there is a failure. But you neglect that signal from nature and go ahead. Right? So please remember, don't even start. We'll go talk about more detail as you go further about how this really works. Now look at this. Marlboro is simply a dinosaur. It's a 20th century brand that is dying a death in 21st century. It's also a greatest example of brand built on nothing but myth. How many people this man has killed by the way he started to smoke? You know how he smoke, right? He would keep a cigarette not in the center. He would keep it on the side. Right? You've seen on the side. And it's in such a stylish manner. And people will get so fascinated by this. You say, wow. And just look at that and you feel, wow, this is great. And he had this cowboy hat, which was very typical of him. Right? And in this way, the entire generation of America fell prey to this. Only to realize later on that this man is a killer. He died himself of cancer, naturally, of course. And then he killed so many people also in the process. Right? So, my dear friends, this cigarette is not what it looks like. It is not cool, as I said, obviously, it's heat. Wherever there is heat, there is smoke, right? So, if there is a lot of smoke being generated, it cannot be a cool substance. It's not menthol, it is heat. It's not at all cool, right? It's not rough and tough. Not a sign of success. It's not trendy and fashionable. It's outrightly dangerous. You go into a room where people are smoking, you can't survive there. It's a closed room where 10 people are smoking. I bet you can stay there for more than half an hour. You will cough your lungs out practically. It's also noxious that, as I said, there's CO, CO2, SO2, H2S, all terrible chemicals which you will start inhaling. Right? So, please be very careful to get into this, don't get into this trap. It is not, see, the thing is, all of us, as this young age, and I have passed your age, so I can speak definitely from experience, we all are gullible. We all are susceptible to a lot of what they call as peer pressure. That is something which works very powerfully in everybody's life. Peer pressure. You want to be identified with a particular group of people. Right? If my so-called friends are doing this, and if I don't do, I'm the single man standing alone as separatist, then I'm not accepted in that group, and that makes me feel very uncomfortable that I'm not with the group. So to fall into the group, to fall in line with them, I must do what they do, I must say what they say, I must live the way they live, just for feeling a part of them, no matter what that is. Whether it's a booze, it's a smoke, or it is hashish, anything, right? So this pressure is so intense that unless you have a lot of your own inner strength already developed, this is almost irresistible, right? So you have to generate, there may be a lot of pressures around you, but ultimately the ball is in our court. We have to generate that inner sense of dignity to life. Life is sacred, my dear friends. Life is not cheap. Life is not at all cheap. In the evolutionary cycle, it has taken God knows how many birds from amoeba onwards. We started off somewhere. We become human beings now. Darwinian theory, people have heard, right? It has taken a lot of time to become human beings in an evolutionary cycle, and the most intelligent people on the planet. We cannot throw away this life just for some smoke. Many more things in life that are more important than just falling prey to the peer pressure. So stand up, don't be spineless. Have a spine, stand straight and say, I will not do it. It's just you have to create that will in yourself. I will not just do this. Okay? In the beginning, you will be ridiculed, but in the end, you will be respected for what you're doing. You will be respected among your friends that this man is special. He has his own gray matter which he thinks. So it has got great rewards in the future. This is the biggest, as the world enters this new millennium, it is faced with many new public challenges, even as many as the old risks to good health still remain. In the last 40 years, people have become increasingly aware of the adverse health consequences of tobacco use. Currently, tobacco use is the leading cause of preventable illnesses and death in this nation. The majority of other high-income nations and increasingly in low and middle income. So everything is included. High income, middle income, low income. Right? This is a very powerful statement by the US General. This is an official statement by the WHO US. Right? So usually we are so crazy in India. I like to be Indian. I'm proud to be Indian. But I must also make a comment that we fall so much flat prey to the US trends. I don't know why. Why are we so enslaved by Western civilization? I just can't understand that. When everything is so good here in our country, we have the biggest and richest heritage. Youth sang, came, and so many. Christopher Columbus wanted to come here, and he landed up in America, and then he was supposed to wanted to come actually, because India was a land of honey and milk and spices and gold and silver. All the Muslims, and they all came here, right? So India was like the cynosure of this world, the apple in everybody's eye, practically. The best things of the world were available here. Then why don't we just realize our great heritage and fall such a stupid prey to what comes from the West? Why do we lose our individuality and the sense of our own nation? So we don't have to follow the US. We don't have to follow the US. If you follow, then the same statement will apply to our country also. Okay, there's a film. We'll have to show some film here. This is a small film. This is not in English language, but you will see some very amazing things, startling things about the effects in a very graphic way.
В табачном дыме более 4,5 тысяч ядохимикатов.
This is the smoke in the lungs.
Больше, чем в выхлопных газах автомобилей.
The lungs are cut.
За год в легких курильщика скапливается почти
Preservative is
1
put.
стакан смолы. Курение – причина
Smoke.
хронических болезней
Lung getting
легких,
destroyed. All cavities are formed.
рака легкого.
Burnt lungs. Further smoke. Cancer developing. Narrowing of all the vessels. Artery is getting blocked. Look at the amount of deposits in the artery.
Курение вызывает закупорку крупных и мелких сосудов, что
the
приводит к
aorta being-
тромбоне конечности, инфаркту миокарда и внезапной смерти.
Pumping heart. Eye damage.
Курение приводит к слепоте вследствие
Rupture of the
разрывов
arteries,
кровеносных
hemorrhage.
сосудов и инсульту.
Brain. Rupture. Hemorrhage. Actual brain. Blood.
Курильщик не доживает по крайней мере 20 лет своей жизни. Бросить курить никогда не поздно, но обязательно нужно.
Dead.
Иначе смерть.
I should not say, do you like it? I say, do you like it? Huh? How does it seem? How does it feel when you look at this? How does it look? How does it feel to you when you look at this? Huh? Sorry? Looks horrible. Huh? Nothing is seen outside, my dear. The fallacy is that we don't see anything happening outside of us. You remain the same fair-skinned or dark-skinned person. Nothing changes externally. But internally, you're completely corrupted, finished. Finished. बोलते हैं ना खोखला हो गया खोखला. Everything is finished. All the organs just die a natural, or rather a natural death. Every organ. You can see from the eye, the heart, everything. Right? How things rupture. And we see, my dear friends, people dying so easily. See, life is precious. And as you grow old, you will realize it more. You're going to get married, you're going to have children. Then to live for your family. People are reading a newspaper and then suddenly they get heart attack and they die. You just go into this. Just told me yesterday, someone told me that there was a person who came to the bank, 35-year-old person, came to pay some money. He was standing in the line to pay his dues to the bank, and he just drops there and dead, heart attack. So life is, things are very, very difficult these days. And people, you keep hearing this all the time. Suddenly you got a stroke. You just, in the most unassuming place, maybe in a theater or in a swimming pool or wherever, you get a stroke. For whole life you're finished. Right? So these things have cumulative effects. It won't happen to you with the first cigarette, remember that. But the damage has started from the first cigarette. So better late than never. Just don't get into it. That's the message. That's the punchline. Don't just get into it. The first one itself will be the beginning of the end of your life. Make us. We are a bunch of so many habits. They enslave us. Like to be enslaved. It creates a sense of happiness. People who smoke seem to make themselves feel, others feel that it makes me feel good. It feels so good to smoke. Tension kam ho jata hai. Right? It creates these drugs are such, that creates a false world. You start living in a false world of illusory happiness, where everything which is not good starts appearing good suddenly. Right? You're not living in a real world at all. It creates a false conception of reality. It impels us. It impels you. You just can't avoid it. You get up in the morning, the first thing people do today, nowadays, is take the mobile and take the cigarette in the hand. And then there comes a black tea. This is most people's life starts today. With the mobile, look for where's the mobile? Okay, mobile is there. Some messages here and there. Anything has come in the night, any emails that come in the night, check it out. Catch the first cigarette and then the black tea. Now, this is even more dangerous. Some good friend will tell you, chhod de beta, chhod de yaar, mar jayega tu. You won't leave it. If Dr. Shukumar may even start, talking to you, counsel you, become very difficult once you get into it. Good counsel doesn't work. You pass that stage. You've gone way beyond that stage where good counsel will work. Okay, habits are first cobwebs and cables. Okay? Chain of habits is too soft to be felt but too strong to be left. It's a chain. It's not a soft chain, it's a powerful chain. You get chained to it. We may not become prisoners in a jail like Kasab. But you will become a prisoner of your own habit. You will be enchained, you will be enslaved, you will be a prisoner of your own habit. You will lose your sense of freedom completely. Next is, take the next one. We're going to show a small film again. We're going to move on the subject from smoking to the next enemy of ours, common social enemy, that is alcohol. Yeah, same thing applies to alcohol also. Next to the next one. Yeah.
Once an adolescent begins to drink, they bring with it a lot of health risks. Studies show that young people who drink heavily might put themselves at risk for a range of potential health problems. Alcohol brings problems to the brain, to the liver, and to the growth and endocrine. Adolescent brains are still maturing, and when teenagers begin to drink, they have a significant impact on long-term thinking and memory skills. This means that they get the double effect. Heavily drinkers will have a hard time concentrating. The right image shows a brain from a 15-year-old male heavy drinker, and the left one shows a brain from a 15-year-old non-drinker. These images shows functional activity levels. They represent that a non-drinker has a better functional brain than a heavy drinker brain at the age of 15 has. Adolescents that drink alcohol may bring consequences to their liver. Alcohol elevates the enzymes in the liver, indicating some degree of liver damage. The alcohol makes a deposit of fat that causes the liver to grow longer or to suffer an enlargement, creating scar tissues to form. Finally, the growth of connective tissues destroys the liver cells, and if you are lucky, get a donator to give you another liver. Finally, in both males and females, puberty is a period associated with marked hormonal changes, including increase in the sex hormones, estrogen and testosterone. These hormones increase production of other hormones and growth factors source, which are vital for normal organ development. Alcohol, during puberty, may affect critically the hormonal balance necessary for the development of organs, muscles, and bones. And please, if you are going to drink, please don't drive. It saves.
Right. Again, now a socially acceptable thing, alcohol, absolutely common. And beer is like water, right? It's not even considered as alcohol anymore. 6%, 7%, 8%, right? So people think this is cool to have beer also. But think of beer, even if it's 7%, nobody takes a sip of beer, no one takes a peg of beer. People take always a bottle of beer. It'll be about how much, if it is 7% or 8%, multiplied by 650, how much is that? A lot of alcohol going in your body, right? So it's even tougher than gin or wine, which contains 22 or 24%. So in that sense, alcohol also, which is now accepted as a social, normal drink, is also. Now, if you compare alcohol and nicotine, there's a difference here. The nicotine seems to be something, a poison which works mainly on the biological level, on the level of the body. And alcohol has even more powerful effects on the mind and a huge impact on people's social lives. Social lives get really ruined. Nobody would like to marry an alcoholic man. These days, girls have a tough choice because most boys, they know they are already in their schools and colleges addicted to so many substances. They would like to really find out, is this boy addicted to some substance or not? If he is, then he is a man of poor character, poor social living standards, and they would not like to get married to him, right? So that's something very, very important for us to understand on a practical level. Alcohol makes you so addicted, and I have seen so many patients. I treat patients every day of cirrhosis of liver. It's such a insidious thing. You keep on drinking, and then you become completely unmotivated to do any work. You start having absenteeism from office. You stop working. You start borrowing money. You start even stealing money. You start selling your wife's gold. I've seen people going to horrible social, serious problems. And of course, most marriages end up in divorces when there's an alcoholic man in the family, right? So please become very conscious, very aware that alcohol, again, which is socially accepted, right? We are not going to be doing things because it is socially accepted. We're going to have our brain of our own. We're going to have our own individual thinking because you and I are ultimately responsible. We cannot blame society for what is happening. It is we who are responsible. It is you and I. The ball always ends in our court because it is we who are going to be affected and not society ultimately, right? So please be very careful about alcohol. Now we talk about something else. There's a rising problem. Hashish, marijuana, cocaine, cannabis. This is a huge problem now. And I have got a lot of friends in the hospital who tell me that these days young people are falling prey to even this more than alcohol and smoking because it is more and more available and it's more and more becoming accepted by people. Now, what are the problems associated with hashish? Look at the last line. The most important impact of these powerful drugs is what it leads to call as a motivational syndrome. We'll talk about that. All of those who try cannabis, 1 in 10 becomes dependent. If someone uses every day, then becomes 50% chance of becoming dependent. Young people become dependent more than adults. Now, what is this motivational syndrome? This is very important for students like yourself to understand. As a syndrome whereby once you start taking cannabis regularly, you lose the motivation for leading a normal life. Every normal chore of life, maybe bathing, you neglect that. Brushing teeth, neglect that. Wearing clean clothes, neglect that. Going to college, neglect that. Right? You just get completely demotivated. So much demotivated that it becomes like something like in spirituality called as vairagi, vairagis. So this is not vairagi of that type कि भाई निर्लिप्त हो गए संसार से, अभी तो देख लिया सुन लिया, अभी क्या करना है संसार में, कुछ नहीं, संसार वैसे भी तो माया ही है. So it is not that type of a vairagya which comes with people of that type. It is just complete disinterest in living a normal life. So if most of these fellows, look at this picture. You see many people in our country are sadhus, not sadhus, I don't want to abuse that word, so-called sadhus, wearing all the saffron and all. They all are smokers of hashish. That is why they have become sadhus. Because they are so much unmotivated now, because life is, they don't want to work, they just laze around, just few people are sitting around and having this chilam there, and they just go and sit along with all of those fellows that they pass on the chilam, you smoke, I smoke, they smoke, and then it comes to you also, so you get your share also of the chilam. So that's the way life becomes. These fakirs also are there in the fakir. What is a fakir? Fakir also is a poor fellow, is an addict, because he's become a fakir now. He's become a man of so-called God. But he's basically a person who has become demotivated, or hippie, whatever, all these punks. So this makes you a complete social outcast. You just can't fall in line with the normal social norms of society. You just become so different. So it becomes to such an extent that even the motivation to give up also is lost. अभी कौन छोड़ेगा इसको, अभी पी रहे हो तो पीते ही रहो, अभी क्या छोड़ने का क्या है इसको. So the motivation to leave it also requires the motivation to give it up, right? But you're so demotivated to even give it up. So it creates this sort of a thing. And for student life, you have to be highly motivated, because student life is all about motivation, strong motivations to study, to excel, to grow, is it not? To achieve targets, to perform, to compete. It's all about being highly intensely motivated in your life. If you are a demotivated student, then they have to go take some counseling, because it's not going to work like that. You have to be really motivated to achieve goals. You have expectations, your friends have expectations, your parents have expectations, right? So you have to be highly motivated. But alcohol and this destroys the power of motivation. You just can't really push yourself into doing things. You just feel, ठीक है ना, कितना 3 ATKT आया ना चलेगा. People talk like that, no? You go to the first class compartment and say, कितना ATKT? 4 ही आया, 4, मेरे को 6 ATKT आया. So they start really showing off as if, I had only 6 failures and you only have 4, I have got 6, so I'm greater than you. I'm going to, I have failed in 6 subjects, right? So they lose this motivation. They think even nothing really affects them. 6 red lines, 6 subject failed, we'll cover up, next time कर लेंगे, उसमें क्या? Demotivational. So this lady, I think she smokes only 1 cigarette in a day, but she is equal to 100 cigarettes. Right. Now, please, my dear friends, if you're distracted till now, get attracted to this slide. This is extremely important what I'm going to speak now. All drugs of abuse target the brain's pleasure center. Everyone in his brain has a grief center and a pleasure center. Now, this is science. This is absolute science. When we take these substances, there's a center in the brain. It is shown, it is a technical thing. It's a place in hippocampus. There is a center of reward center in everyone's brain. They call it in science as a pleasure center, or they call it as a reward center. Now, it's up to you, the individual, as to what activity or what substance will go and actually stimulate the reward center. It could be a simple thing like food. It could be a very beautiful thing like music. It could be a hobby like gardening. It could be a dangerous thing like alcohol. If you take alcohol, if you take nicotine or any of these abuse substances, and if you are unfortunate to have triggered your reward center, then consciously and subconsciously, you will actually have to do it again and again and again to have that feeling of being rewarded, even if it is destroying your life. Even after a heart attack, just out of ICU for 3 days, people ask for the cigarette. And this is a fact. I'll tell you for disease, which I learned when I was in second medical college. It's called TAO, it's called Berger's disease. And when I heard of this disease, I was terrified. Berger's disease is a disease caused by smoking. When you take smoke, the nicotine as it goes into the blood vessels, it causes narrowing of the vessels. After a few years of smoking, this person's finger becomes black. What is the meaning of black? Gangrene. That means there's no blood supply. He has to have his finger chopped off, and it does that. He keeps on smoking, he loses second finger. I have seen people losing their complete arm, their wrist. This was their smoking cigarette, then they start smoking with this cigarette, with this hand then. They lose this arm also. I have seen patients losing both hands and both legs. And then they tell somebody else, put the cigarette with your hand in my mouth. This is the devil. This is the reward center stimulated now so powerfully that he lost his 4 limbs with gangrene, amputated. But he will not give up that cigarette till he's in the coffin. This is the power of addiction. It's called, you can see in the net, it's called Berger's disease, B-E-R-G-R. Berger's disease. Horrible disease to have. So this is reward center. So let's understand that let there be healthier ways of getting this reward center stimulated rather than all these diabolical things, which are destructive things. And you have no idea what substance is going to really activate this. If you are really having a bad destiny, whatever you call it, bad graha or Shani, Vani, Rahu, whatever that is, if you are in a bad state and you take that cigarette and it stimulates that center, you are a lifelong member of the cigarette community. Your life member. This is very important. So there could be harmless things like food. Some people just feel pleasure by taking Chinese food. So they just go for Chinese. Fine, take it, a soya sauce and something here and there. Okay, some loose motions here and there. It's okay, manageable. But it is you won't get into this cocaine thing. So these brain circuits are important for natural records such as food, musk and art, right? These are some technical things. When cocaine is taken, dopamine increases as exaggerated. So you won't understand this anyway. Now, we'll try to wind up this, we're talking about. So what we're talking about is basically choose your behavior. There is a stimulus, somebody offers you a cigarette, or offers you a glass of alcohol, or any such drug which is destructive, then the first thing would be reactive. You take it, you use it. That's responsive. That's almost like an animal. An animal lives on basic biology, primeval biology called as instinctual existence. That means they get an urge to do something, they just do it. When the dog feels like doing something, he just chases the she dog and just does it, right? So it's just instinctual existence. But man is not an instinctual animal because he has a big brain. The body-brain ratio is biggest for a man than even the elephant or the whale. The brain is far more, the ratio of the brain and body is much higher. That means we have got more neurons percentage-wise than even the bigger animals than us like elephants and whales, right? The reason is that because we are supposed to respond a second way. There's a stimulus, then I have an intervening mechanism called my choice. I think about it. And then I will give my response. So as they said, look before you leap, right? It's very important to look before you leap. So use your faculty of, there's some patients which we have treated, big tumors, there's a hole in the neck. Anyway, so starve bad habits, supplement them with good habits, and basically just stay away. What I really find is interesting is that this Dhruva, and along with Mitra, our friend, they are working together. What you are trying to do is something so wonderful. This Dhruva is such a important thing in the student community over here that it's really trying to build up your character. We are not here just for competence in IIT. We are here for a blend of competence and a powerful character. Please remember, my dear friends, you are IITians. You are not some cheap, lousy, fellows, just from the street picked up and just come over here. You people are the most intelligent people of the country. You are trendsetters. The way you will live your life, the standard which you will set as the academic standards of excellence in your life, everybody else, every student in the country and abroad will follow. So you have a huge responsibility being in this campus. Not only for yourself, but for all the students of the world who are going to come in the future. So if you come out of this campus with a strong sense of a inbuilt character, who will believe in the dignity of life, who live a life of integrity and a strong values, great values, and of course you have great academic success, which gives you great jobs and CEOs of various companies and things like that. The combination of these two things is the golden thing. So do not sell yourself just for competence, because that's something which is okay, that's fine. But we want to have quality of life. We don't want to have a big CEO of a company, but alcoholic, but drug addict, but successful drug addict. He'll make a lot of money. We don't want to be like that. We want to become successful in terms of the inner quality. The fabric of life has to be really ignited. We're going to live a life of dignity. I'll end with this thing. Body, mind. Above the mind is what? What's about the mind? What's about the mind? Anything about the mind? About the mind is intelligence. Sarir, mana, buddhi. And then say ankar also. Right? Anyway, so the mind may give stimuli to fall prey to these very, very evil things. But there's another screening agent above, the elder brother, who's called as the intelligence. The mind is a seat of thought and desire. The intelligence, which is most important in our case, has got two functions. And that's what we want to develop. What are the two functions of the intelligence? Anybody knows? It says somebody is intelligent. Usually people say he's intelligent because he got 99% in 10th standard or 12th standard. That's not intelligence. That's absolutely just one memory center of the brain, which was just one small part of the brain. Intelligence has two functions: the faculty of discrimination and the faculty of determination. So when somebody is truly intelligent, he is going to have a powerful, what we call in Sanskrit as Viveka Buddhi. He can see right, wrong, good, bad, and he can see consequences. So he can have a powerful judgment to discriminate right from the wrong. That person is intelligent. And having decided so, then the second faculty, the power of determination. Then he stands by it. Once he decides this is wrong, this is right, he stands by it. He does not succumb to the pressures of people around them. So I think Dhruva is doing just this, and therefore I personally feel that this should be encouraged, and I believe that this Dhruva thing should come in every IIT campus. You have 15 IIT campuses now in the country, and everyone should have this. I believe every medical colleges should have this. This is a must. This forum is so important to save the young lives of our beautiful students of our country, right? And if peer pressure is making such an important role, then what? I don't know, the management people are here and everyone is sitting inside, those are not here. It would be very simple in one sense to just separate out the juniors from the seniors. I believe that here everyone lives together in one hostel, the first year, second year, third year, fourth year, right? But usually, as I know, in medical college also, the influence of the seniors is very heavy on the juniors. But if just our juniors, our first year students who just have come raw, fresh, with big dreams and all this nice fancy ideas about future, if they just kept separated out from the seniors in a separate hostel, then you don't allow that free mixing to allow the seniors to really, get into them. And because there is some sort of a sadistic pleasure in getting even these juniors, involved in, I'm already trapped, so, come along with me. So it just maybe physical separation may help. This is just a thought. I just thought like that. I'm nowhere to decide here, but if this makes sense to you, I think it's important that let's not get this peer pressure working so heavy, because at the age of 19 years, you are so gullible to peer pressure. Right? So I thought I'll make this presentation on smoking, hashish, and alcohol, and there could be much more that can be spoken about it, but this is like a brief overview, and I believe that something has gone across, I hope, and you become more straight and not going to fall. The law of gravity works and pulls us down towards bad things, but let not gravity of work. We're supposed to stand straight. We are not, four-legged animals. We are two-legged, and we're supposed to stand straight against gravity, right? And say, yes, I will do this and I will not do that, right? With these few words, again, I want to thank Dhruva, the IIT campus, the professors here for calling me. I'm from Mumbai, and I feel my time well spent to address the best intellectuals of the country. Thank you very much. So we got a little more beyond time, but any questions, any you'd like to ask? We'll take a few minutes off for questions, and then we.
For such a wonderful lecture, I'm very, very thankful. One more thing, sir. I'm
Yes.
just asking. As you said that separate the junior from the senior. I think it is a bit difficult thing.
It is difficult, you say? What are you saying?
But one more thing I'm just asking, if as a child when I was in my home and I was demanding something which is harmful to me, my parents just won't give me. They know it is very, very harmful to
Bad.
me.
Correct.
They won't give me at all.
Yes.
So, as you said, it is a great responsibility of our all IITians that we, as you have put a great responsibility on us, it is a great responsibility now. But on that, due to that responsibility, I'm asking, as so-called organizations, they are taking care of the World Health, known as WHO, World Health Organizations. They all know such substance like alcohol, cocaine, tobacco, nicotine, all these things, they are very harmful to human beings.
Correct.
Then why they are not completely banishing their manufacturing system?
You are asking a very, very, very important question. Huh?
Thank you, sir.
And I'm not the best person to answer this, but from what I understand is that these organizations are not controlled by them. This is controlled by somebody else, right? So this is a very different subject, but the world is controlled by a group of people who I don't even know. And there are many things like this which should be banned and completely removed from society, but they will never get, because there is huge amount of money. It's only a game of money, that's all. No one's really bothered whether you die or I die. Who cares? Huh? The arms race. So many arms being sold. Huh? Who's bothered? Why the biggest industries in the world today? You know what is the two biggest industries in the world? The two biggest industries in the world are the defense industry and the pharma industry. The biggest money is in arms and in drugs. Right? So much of billions of dollars, because the world is going to get more and more sick, right? So big money here. The point is that this is never happen. It is a utopian idea that it is what they call as Yug. What's this? If living in Satyug, then able to tell people who are very nice kings. It is written, your friend has died of cancer, your uncle has died of maybe some other cancer, but we still buy it and we smoke it. Oh, how it goes. Anybody else like to say something?
Particularly regarding the de-addiction of smoking.
De-addiction?
De-addiction of the smoking. But now many companies are producing electronic cigarette. They say that it's an electronic cigarette. Yeah.
Huh?
Yes.
Pure nicotine.
Yes.
Okay, okay.
I read it in some paper.
Uh-huh.
It came up with, they don't have any quantity of nicotine in it. So they say that it's a very good tool for de-addiction of smoking.
Mm-hmm.
But is it the possible way to get de-addicted from the smoking?
I think all these things are there, they may come. Again, there may be a lot of market for this sort of things, obviously. You see, everything is based on market. How much market is there? So the product is launched accordingly, right? So how many people are trying to give cigarette? He'll definitely make a lot of $1 billion he'll make, right? But ultimately, I think, as a doctor, I can tell you, that reward center, right? You have to replace that with something good. They call it higher taste and lower taste. Like somebody is eating some cheap food and you give him rasgulla, to chhod dega, or rasgulla khayega. Barabar hai? So you give something is fallen, one has fallen to something very cheap and lowly. You have to give him a higher taste. Like the child is playing with knife. You give him a nice car to play with, he'll give up the knife, right? So we are like stupid children, falling prey to all these stupid habits, right? You have to replace it with something better in your life, with higher goals, higher values, higher aspirations, higher motivational factors. There's all these things about doing this, and and there is one Ayurvedic cigarette has come also, I've heard. Ayurvedic cigarette, right?
Yes.
So what is Ayurvedic cigarette? So it means you have to smoke. Smoking करने का, कुछ भी करके smoking करने का. Ayurvedic cigarette. So this is all very all I really don't put my faith in all these things. It's ultimately you have to just do it. You just do it. Then they have this Nico gum. They have chewing gums also, I'm told. Chewing gums. But my psychiatrist friends who are de-addictions, they say it doesn't really work. Doesn't really work. See, the thing is, I honestly feel once you get into it, it's very difficult to give it up. I will be very honest with you. This thing called a farce. Don't just get into it. Let's be simple. Let's put it straightforward. Let's not really beat around the bush and say electronic and this and that and all these things. Let's be very straightforward. Don't just get into it. It's very simple. If you just be simple in life, they say, just be simple. Simple in high thinking, right? Okay, they say like that. Just be simple and straightforward. I don't want to get into this mess. As a whole, you get into it, as I said, you can't come out. It's a reaction which goes in only one direction. It is not a reversible reaction. In chemistry, they have reversible reactions. It's not reversible. It only goes unidirectional. Just go deeper and deeper and deeper till you die. Okay, so I think we will put an end to this. Sir, if you ask a question, you have to answer it yourself. That's the only way you will have to ask the question.
So I'll make it a statement. Dr. Dalal said 2 C's, the competence and character. I wish to add one more, which is a very important C to have, which is compassion.
Wow.
It's not enough that I have the character and competence. I should see it in my friends. Mitra is there for that reason. Every one of you are participants of this Mitra. Every one of you is an ambassador in taking this message, making sure that they get the right help. It is better to clip it at the bud. Is it not? Many times when your neighbor is smoking or taking cannabis, you don't care. You don't tell us. You feel that if you tell us, we will take action that will harm them more. Which will harm them more? We are there to help them. Please, again I'm repeating this, what I told earlier, please help us to help your neighbors.
Beautiful. I think you summed it up so beautifully, these 3 C's. This is really the crux of the matter. First, be compassionate to yourself. Compassion starts, let's say, charity begins at home, right? So compassion begins with ourselves first. Be compassionate on your own body, on your own brain, on your own sperms. And be compassionate to your friends. That's beautifully said. I think it's a very beautiful note to end, and I thank Doctor for saying this, and you really caught the essence of everything. Thank you. And all the best. Yes, one more question. We'll stay for one more.
So
Yes.
what is the effect of incense stick smoke on us?
I didn't get that word.
What is the effect of incense stick smoke?
Incense
Agarbatti,
sticks.
dhupbatti.
Oh, okay. Incense sticks. Well, agarbatti is basically a highly allergic substance. It is that smoke is very different than, because it is not generated from nicotine. The main ingredient in cigarette smoke is nicotine, and that smoke is full of all these toxic substances. Agarbatti contains various other chemicals, many of them natural and oftentimes unnatural flavored substances are there. But because it is chemical oriented flavors given to create some aroma of chandan or whatever, jasmine and musk, whatever. So they are highly allergic to the body. So most of the time when you find people who are asthma prone or have allergic rhinitis, running noses and all, when they get exposed to that, they may get an attack of asthma or an attack of common cold or attack of running nose. So these are allergic, they are allergic in nature. So they are not life-threatening, at least, they are not dangerous. But they do have a strong allergic potential. Okay? Right. Okay, so now we will like to see some performance. Yes, Gokul? You have any question still? Okay, last question. Yes.
Sir, my question is this. If tomorrow position of CEO of ITC, would you take it? Like this was a question asked to me in some interview. So like I'm not still come up with the best answer. Like I told that I'll take it, but it doesn't mean that I'm promoting tobacco. The question was still, they said that no, you should not have taken it and all. So I want to ask this question to you, sir.
No, I will not take it up. Very simple. No, I will not. I don't want to be called as a killer. I'm going to go by this word in my life. The word of compassion. It goes against, anyway, it goes against the principle of compassion. It's bad. Is it not? Right? It goes against the very fabric of the word compassion. So, I won't.
Actually, ITC is in many different products also.
Okay, fine. So I know what you're talking about specifically about, it's an Indian tobacco company, so, it's all about tobacco. So yes, I will not take it up. And I think even you should not take it up. There are better things to do in life than that. Okay, Mr. Gokul, it's fine.
A couple of words.
Guys and the lone girl sitting out there probably. I'm a pharmacist by profession, and this Dr. Dalal out here lambasted me today because I'm the one who makes the drugs. And he also said there are two industries which want money, 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 and I happen to be from one of those. And I started on drugs very early. Unfortunately, Dr. Dalal started at the age of 6, started earlier than me, started at the age of 8. Because my father was smoking. And I wanted to be like him. So the first day I stole 4 cigarettes. And I didn't know he counted his cigarettes, man. Come on, small guy. And I all 4 in one shot. I didn't know it stinks. And I didn't know that it gives me a spin in the head. And when I was confronted, I said, cigarette? What cigarette, dada? And I got 4 cigarettes on my face here. And I never left smoking after that. Up until 10th standard. By the time I was in my 8th standard, I had visited cannabis joints. Because I stay in a part of Bombay which is called Juhu. Very famous for strugglers and moviegoers and all those kind of. That's the company that I had. I was in company of, I won't take the names. Now these people have become very big singers and very big actors now. I stay in Janki Kutir, a place where at least, I used to share my telephone line with Meena Kumari. Okay. So that's the kind of, my next door was Manoj Kumar and Shabana Azmi and Prithviraj Kapoor and, so I was bound to go there. And then came 10th standard. And my sister, she's a doctor. She never ever fared well in her papers. When she came back home, she was always crying. Bad paper, bad paper. And me, I never fared badly in any paper. When I came back home, I would say very good. And she would get 80% and I would get 57%. All throughout. So I realized, gosh, I got to get a first class now. So in the 10th standard, somehow, I didn't have money. And somehow that day, I still went and smoked, took a debt and I just gave it up out of nothing. I don't know why I gave it up. And then I got into pharmacy, where absolute alcohol. How many of you into chemical or chemical engineering? Anyone? Anyone? No one. Oh, just you. You. I was into pharmacy, and the best solvent in pharmaceuticals is absolute alcohol. What doctor was talking today was 6% beer. Third class. I am talking of 100% C2H5OH, correct? Yeah, got it. So It was freely available in our laboratory. Bottles on bottles. Yeah, we used to use it as solvents. Solvents for the food that we ate in the hostels. The useless mess food that we had to have a solvent. But somehow, I must say that what Professor out here has talked of compassion, somebody had this compassion on me, and it was of course family, and I gave up absolute alcohol as well. I'm going to be speaking to you tomorrow on the topic Just Do It, and we will review as to how we, each one of you, can make at least, if not billions, at least, some 10 to 100 million dollars, let's say. Rupees is a little bit less, it's weak, currently. And we'll be talking of why Steve Jobs could do what he has done, why the Wright brothers could do what they did, why Martin Luther King, why Gandhiji, why so many other entrepreneurs, the Tatas, why have they been able to achieve what they have been able to. So we'll be speaking on just do it, the way I did it. Smoke and second standard, leave by the 10th. So none of you in the second standard, right? So you don't need to just do it in terms of smoking. Okay? And I left absolute alcohol by the time I was second year, because there onwards, the college realized we were doing this absolute alcohol business. So they would have methylated alcohol from then on, and we realized that the methylation is a bit too dangerous for us. So thank you for attending. Thank you for being such a nice audience. I wish you can get in more chairs, or if there is such attendance, then we'll all come and sit here on stage tomorrow. See you there.